So regulation of respiration is by neural control or by chemical control. Okay. So in the neural control, here there are respiratory rhythm centers. Okay. 2 are present in the medulla oblongata and 2 are in your pons region. You can see this is your brain. In the pons varicula and in the medulla there are rhythmic centers. So in the medulla oblongata there are 2 centers, which are inspiratory center and the expiratory center. Inspiratory center contains group of neurons, and this is on the dorsal side, so we call it dorsal group of neurons, and in the expiratory center there are ventral group of neurons. Inspiratory center regulates the normal inhalation. Okay, remember this, it regulates the normal inhalation, and we know that during the normal inhalation the impulses are sent and to the diaphragm by the phrenic nerve and to the external intercostal muscle by the intercostal nerve. So this diaphragm and this muscle contract so that inhalation takes place, and this is under the control of inspiratory center, which is present in the medulla oblongata. Next center is the expiratory center. This center is inactive during normal breathing. So guys, please focus on this. It remains inactive during the normal breathing. It only works when there is a forceful breathing. Okay, so it regulates both inspiration and expiration only when forceful breathing is there, right? Next 2 centers are present in your pons region, and they are known as pneumotaxic center and the apneustic center. Pneumotaxic center is called the switch off point of inspiration. Okay, suppose you had inhaled a lot of air, due to which what will happen, your lungs get inflated and your alveoli gets affected and it may get burst. So this center switch off your inspiration, and in this way it prevents the over inflation of your lungs, and it regulates the amount of air that can be taken in. Apneustic center works when the pneumotaxic fails. Okay, so it helps in inhalation. When you do a lot of exercise, you need a lot of air, so in that case inhalation takes place, and this is controlled by the apneustic center. So it controls the depth of respiration. Pneumotaxic center controls the rate of respiration. Okay, let's move ahead. The chemical control. So as the name suggests, here chemicals are used because it is a chemical control. So chemicals are carbon dioxide and a hydrogen ion. Okay, so chemosensitive region are there in your brain, which senses if the concentration of carbon dioxide or hydrogen ions increases in your circulating blood. So if this level increases, then this chemosensitive region send the message to the respiratory rhythm center, and due to which your rate of respiration increases. As your rate of respiration increases, your oxygen goes inside your body, and due to which carbon dioxide and the hydrogen ion concentration decreases. So in this case there is no significant role of your oxygen, right? Let's move ahead. Chemoreceptors are present in your carotid body also, as well as aortic body also. Observe this diagram. This is the carotid body. Okay, this body is present where there is a carotid artery bifurcation is there. You can see here bifurcation is there. So this carotid body is present at that point, and the other one, that is aortic body, it is present in your aorta. So this body also works when the concentration of carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion increases. So these bodies send messages to the respiratory rhythm centers, and these messages are sent by the cranial nerve 9, that is glossopharyngeal, which is present in the near the carotid body, and the cranial nerve 10, that is the vagus nerve. So these 2 nerves send messages to the respiratory rhythm center, due to which expiratory muscles gets stimulated and the oxygen gets inhaled. So in this way chemicals control your regulation of respiration. right? So this is about regulation. Now let's study about the disorders related to your respiratory system. So first disorder is hypoxia. In this case, or we can say in this situation, the tissue is not able to get proper oxygen. Okay, if the tissue is not able to get proper oxygen due to height, as you know that as we move up, okay, on a mountain, we climb on a mountain, at that on the top the partial pressure of oxygen decreases, due to which your body is not able to get proper oxygen. So at that time there is a deficiency of oxygen in your body, and that condition is known as hypoxic hypoxia. Okay, in the second case, if there is a low RBC count or hemoglobin content is low in your blood, so at that time, in this case also, what will happen, your body is not able to get proper oxygen. This type of disease is known as anemic hypoxia. Next is in the ischemic hypoxia, your blood vessels get obstructed due to suppose cholesterol or any other substance. The blood vessels get blocked, and so what will happen, your body is not able to get oxygen. This type of disease is known as ischemic hypoxia. Next disease is histotoxic hypoxia. It is due to the poisoning, or we can say due to the toxins present in your blood. Suppose cyanide, take an example of cyanide. Cyanide poisoning is there, it is due to the toxin. So this type of disease which occurs due to the toxin present in your blood is known as the histotoxic hypoxia. So these all are the hypoxia diseases, and as I told you, it is in this case the tissue is not able to get proper oxygen. Next is your due to carbon monoxide poisoning. As we inhale carbon monoxide, this carbon monoxide has a great affinity to bind with the hemoglobin. It is around 200 times more than that of the oxygen. Okay, so this carbon monoxide binds with the hemoglobin and forms carboxyhemoglobin. So when this substance is formed, in this case what will happen, the tissue are not able to get oxygen, because the oxygen get strongly bind with the hemoglobin, and it is not able to dissociate, so the tissues are not able to get that oxygen, and this situation and this condition is known as the asphyxiation, right? This is a disease due to carbon monoxide poisoning. Next disease is asthma. It is an allergic disease, and in this case your body becomes more sensitive to the allergens. So in your body there are musk cells. These allergens, it can be a pollen grain or any other allergen. It bonds with your musk cell, and due to which what will happen, your musk cell releases histamine. Okay, a histamine is a vasodilator, means it dilates your blood vessels, but it is bronchoconstrictor. It constricts your bronchioles. So due to which you are not able to breathe properly. So to cure this disease, antihistamine drugs are given. Next disease is pneumonia. It is caused by the infection. It can be by bacteria or by fungus. By bacteria, for example, is Streptococcus, and fungus example is Aspergillus. So in this case, pneumonia, exchange of gases becomes lesser due to the inflammation of the respiratory membrane. As I told you in one of my videos that around the alveoli there is a membrane, and around the alveoli there are capillaries which also contain in a membrane which is made of endothelium, and this endothelium membrane and the membrane of alveoli and the basement membrane, they makes your respiratory membrane. So in the pneumonia, this membrane, in the gap between these membranes increases, due to which the fluid from the blood comes into your alveoli, and this start filling your alveoli. Okay, so your body is not able to get proper oxygen because the exchange of gases is not possible if your alveoli gets filled with a fluid. So this is the pneumonia disease. Next is emphysema. Okay, it is common in the smokers. In this case, your alveolar walls degenerate due to the proteases secreted by the macrophages. You know that alveoli have walls between them, and these walls get degenerated due to the proteases. Okay, so if the walls get degenerated, your surface area to absorb the oxygen also becomes less, so your body is not able to get that much of oxygen. So to prevent this disease, alpha-1 antitrypsin is used. Next disease is occupational disorder. It is due to the occupation. Okay, for example, if a person is working in a glass industry or in a building industry, so due to the continuously inhaling of silica or any other substance, a disease occurs, due to which what will happen, your lung tissue destroy. Okay, and when the lung tissue destroy, instead there is a fiber formation takes place. In this situation is known as lung fibrosis, because lung tissue gets destroyed and instead of it fibers are formed, right? If a person inhale a lot of silica dust, then the disease which occurs due to this is known as silicosis. Inhalation of asbestos causes asbestosis. Inhalation of cotton fibers, the person who is doing work in a cotton industries, and the fibers which are coming from it, looms and from the working near in the factory, these fibers enter in your lungs and causes disease known as byssinosis. Next disease is pneumoconiosis. It is called black lung disease. It is due to coal dust. Sorry, the spelling is mistake. It is due to coal dust, and the people who are working in coal mines have this disease known as pneumoconiosis. Okay, so this is all about the disorders related to your respiratory system. Thank you guys for watching this.